This is, boy, I hope I have this right. Yeah, it's episode 141 of No Laugh Track Podcasts. My name is Justin Severson, the host. Thank you to Circle of Heat for letting us play their music. As always, Tracey Ashley is back.
Hey, Justin. It's so good to be back.
She's back. We were going to record yesterday, but
I was under the weather.
You were under the weather,
yes.
And it gave me, more 24 hours more of life experience to talk about.
And it gave me more time to sleep.
It gave you more time to sleep.
And get better.
That's good. First, before we really get started here, I want to. So Pete was here last week.
Yes.
Your buddy,
yes,
Pete Lee.
I love Pete. He's like my little brother. He really is. He hates that I say that, but he's like a little brother to me. He thinks he's my big brother, but I'm older than Pete, so I'm like, no, you're my little brother.
Well, Pete, of course, if anybody listened to that, he talked all about all of the changes.
Did he really go into it?
Yes.
Can I just tell you somebody that I was really impressed by that, because I have had a few people who listen to your podcast loyally ask me. First, they wanted to know why I wasn't on yesterday. Huh? And I told them, well, you didn't record yesterday or something like that. And I said, well, I was sick or whatever. Do you air it that same day you recorded? Okay, so that's what they were looking for.
Yeah.
But they all said to me the same thing, that Pete was on, and part of it was kind of sad for them, but it was great because they learned so much about him, but also so much about what a comic goes through in life, how you still have to deal with life and be this funny person.
Yeah.
And a comic stopped by the club last night, and he told me that he was glad he listened to Pete's podcast, the podcast all the way to the end, because he said Pete talked about the negativity.
Yeah.
You know, how you take the negativity and how you still go on doing comedy.
Yeah.
Because you can't focus on that negativity when you're doing this. You have to focus on the positives. And he said he was so glad he listened to that.
Wow.
Someone just told me that last night.
Oh, that's
Very
awesome.
impressed. I was like, I got to be more deeper today on my podcast.
Yep, cut open a vein. Tracey, come on. Let's see you cry. No, it was... Yeah, and the thing is, when I showed up last week, I knew someone had told me, that Pete was getting divorced, and he told me as a, hey, maybe you don't want to go there, when I was told, like a week prior. Okay. Well, then I show up, and Pete's all ready to talk about everything. That I was like, whoa, okay, here we go.
But that's the life of a comic. If you know Pete's act, he talks about his life.
Yeah.
Just as I talk about my life.
Yeah.
We can't help it. Some people say to me, Tracey, boy, you put it out there. I tell them, and I hate to say it's my therapy. That sounds so cliche. It's my therapy. But it is. It is, like I've been sick this week. I've come out on stage. I've been just talking about it. Hey, I feel like crap, y'all. And you know what that's like when, and it's like, because when you have a cold, it's the funniest thing to me is every time I get a cold, I act like I never had one before.
Right.
We all act like, and you act like the end is never going to come. You're like, oh, I'm never going to get well again. I forgot what it feels like to feel good. So you're just a sap, the whole time. And you feel sorry for yourself. And so I talked about that at a couple of shows. People laughed, and people were like, yeah, I just got over it.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
So when Pete and I did a show together outside of St. Louis. I think it was Blackburn, Missouri, wherever. We went to this college, and it was a theater. It was a college show, but they had a theater, so they opened it to the public. So there was mostly just adults there and not really college students. There might have been maybe 15 college students. But it was a really nice theater. We go out, we do the show, and it was my first time hearing Pete do a set since this divorce.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting to hear the material, where he was going and what he was talking about. And he crushed it.
Yeah.
He just killed. But it was a good lesson for me too. Like I'm like, because people tell me you put too much of yourself on stage, and sometimes I think maybe I should pull back. But that wouldn't be me. That is just who I am. I don't mind sharing it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to share everything, but there's some things I don't like. Right now, I've been talking about my husband. He got diagnosed with MS a few years ago, and so I've been talking about it. No, MS is not funny. But it's the things that my husband says to me, the way he deals with, the way he lives with it, and the way we talk about it, and things how he takes it. That's what I talk about.
Yeah.
Because my husband is so hilarious. I do this bit where I have an autoimmune disease, but mine is just very minor. I get like I break out every now and again. It just comes and goes. His is MS, like it's serious. But he's fine. If you see my husband, you wouldn't think anything was wrong with him.
Right.
But he has no feeling in his hands and arms. They hurt 24/7.
Yeah.
But he takes this medication, he's able to get through. And so when I talk about that on stage, at first the audience is like, oh, this is so deep. But then I tell them, yeah, but his outlook is so different. Like I say, babe, I hope, God takes that from you. And he'll say, babe, I hope God teaches me how to live with it. And I'm like, oh, I'm such an asshole.
Yeah. Wow.
And then he says, look, you have an autoimmune disease. I have an autoimmune disease. He goes, we're like mutants. We're like X-Men.
Yeah.
And I said, well, we're the worst superheroes I've ever known, But but I talk about, that's part of my life. That's what's going on.
Uh-huh.
And am I doing that because I hope it helps somebody? Maybe it might help somebody else that's out there. I've had some people come up to me and tell me they were dealing with that, and they were like, thanks for talking a little bit about it.
I bet.
I talk about a little bit about my mom, rest her soul. My mom was mentally ill. My mom was paranoid schizophrenic.
That's right.
I wrote a joke, and I sometimes I'm scared to do it, but I do it. I say, my mother was diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic. No, I said my mom had a mental illness. She was diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic. People go, ooh. I go, I know. She just couldn't be paranoid. And some people laugh. And it's just, woof. And that's the risk you take. But then I come back out of it with another joke, So they don't feel so bad. But part of me is like, don't worry about them feeling bad, Trace. This is your journey and your story, and they're going to come to your world. And that's what I love about what Pete's doing. He's now talking about that just a little bit about that hurt, but he's taking his act, and it's almost like therapy for him. And I'm really proud of him,
Yeah, I was impressed. I still am totally impressed. I wanted to read I think this tweet really sums it up well. I mean, you already have, but
sure.
I wanted to read this tweet here. This is from someone who listened to that, someone named Mrs. Gray.
Okay.
I think she's a comic in New York, from what I gathered here. And it says, it's a tweet to Pete Lee. It says, Pete Lee tweets, I just finished listening to you on nolaughtrack. I think I went through at least 5 emotions.
Aww.
Hugs.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah, I think that sums it up really well. 5 emotions. I don't know all of them, but
and that will help someone.
Yeah.
It'll help someone to realize, what's that old book? It's not the small stuff, but it's not small. It's a big thing, but at the same, Pete's just decided, I'm just going to go on with my life. I can't stay here in this grief. He told me, he goes, Trace, I have my moments.
Oh, yeah.
I have my moments when I'm alone, I'm on the road, because his routine would be, I finish my show, I call my wife, tell her good night. Well, that routine is done. Yeah. And he and I were hanging out the other night, and I felt bad because I was like, I got to call my husband. I was like, that's what Pete used to. We both, if we would get together doing a show, we both would go and call our significant others.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So it's just, I feel for him, but at the same time, I know Pete is so strong, and he's really going to. I'm anxious to see what his comedy does.
For sure. I saw on Twitter you had some hockey players in the crowd the other night.
Yeah, enough about Pete. Let's talk about me. The university.
We love you, Pete.
We do love you, Pete. The University of Minnesota women's hockey team came down on Tuesday night for the show. Thank God they came, because they packed they were the ones that filled the place. They took up the whole center right here.
Okay.
And they came out and they were fantastic. It was so, and I was like, who are you guys? Because someone told me there was a hockey team, but they didn't tell me who.
You were looking for guys, being sexist.
Right? And then I was like, oh, and they were like, I go, you guys are champions. And then this one girl goes, I am.
Oh, wow. I think they have a big game this weekend or something. Mm-hmm. You must have been told that?
Well, I don't know if they had a big game, but they told me they were still in season. So
yeah.
And they said they were doing well.
Yeah. I think they have some end of season.
They came with a big old bus, too. I was like, yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Nice. But you're making it through, being under the weather.
Yes.
There's 2 shows
what
so
I've
far.
been doing is just, you know what you do? You just sleep all day. I've been on Dayquil and NyQuil. And Pete's been trying to get me to take apple cider vinegar, cayenne pepper, and water. He swears by it. He said he was sick for weeks, and somebody told him to drink that twice a day. And he did, and he said it made him better. I'm like, what? I've never heard that before.
But I'm sure you have all those ingredients back at the hotel.
I don't have them at the hotel. But I texted him yesterday. I said I had to move the podcast. I said, because I don't feel well, so I'm going to sleep today. And he just texted back, all caps, get some mother effing red cider vinegar, water, and honey, and whatever he said. I'm like, okay, Pete, I'll get it. I got to drive to Whole Foods now to go find what I need.
But that cayenne pepper at Whole Foods would be at $35 in itself, probably.
I just need a dash of it, according to him. So I'll wait till I get home. We'll see.
Now, the last time you were here, it was last time we talked here, it was
it pre-last comic or
yeah,
after last comic?
It was pre. Like you were, I think.
I was doing that, but I couldn't really talk about
yeah,
it. Yep.
Yeah. So that has all happened.
It's all happened.
You did really well.
Thank you. That was a great experience.
You were
for
on
me.
TV a lot. I got to say, I know her.
That show helped me so much. I mean, it was fantastic. Like, they gave me so much exposure, and I had a lot of new fans. You know, my Twitter was blowing up. It was nice, to see all those new people following and stuff. And what's really helped is when I go to do these college shows, more and more students are coming out. You know, I did one college in Michigan, I believe it was Hope College, and they had set it up for, I think maybe 100 students, I'm not sure, but they had to add lots more seats because so many more students showed up. I did a show at, I think it was University of Nebraska, and I was coming late. My flight was getting in late. So because the show started late, that made us start later, but more people. Like, I think we ended up having 700 students when we thought we were only going to have like 300-400. Like, 700 students showed up for that show. So it's really helped my shows quite a bit. More people know me. When I was traveling, it was interesting. I went to California with my husband, and we got off the plane, and people were like, Tracey Ashley. And my husband was like, baby, these people know you. Like, it just really blew his mind. And he called his parents. He's like, we're out in restaurants and people are coming up to her telling her, I hope you win. And he goes, Dad, I can't believe it. People actually know who she is. It was so funny.
Look at that. That's awesome.
It has been awesome. Even still now.
Yeah.
I will go out there, and I was at a place called Veggie Delight or whatever. And I'm sitting in this restaurant, and this model walks in, and I remember looking at her going, look at this model. There's just models in L.A. I could never be that thin. Like, she's just so small, perfect. She comes up to me, and she goes, I'm a huge fan of yours. Congrats on Last Comic Standing, and just walks on by.
Look at that.
Like, what?
Did you catch her name? Who was she?
No.
Cindy Crawford.
No.
That person was Cindy Crawford.
I did meet Jason Ritter.
Oh.
I did meet him. I felt bad because this is a funny story. I'm so stupid. I get nervous. I think I still get nervous around certain celebrities, maybe, and I don't know what to say. But I saw him at a Starbucks.
Okay.
I was going to a meeting, and he was at this Starbucks. And I said, I know you. And I couldn't think of his name at the time. And he goes...
Usually that's enough, though, with a famous person.
Right. And he goes, well, I'm an actor. I go, yeah. And he goes, I go, what were you in? And he starts naming stuff he's in. I go, nope, didn't see that.
No way.
Then he named something else. I go, This guy went through his entire resume. And I was like, Nah, I ain't, none of that. I ain't see none of that. And then he goes, my father was John Ritter. Oh! No! And then I go, I was a fan of your dad's.
Yeah, there you go.
I felt so small in that moment. I go, but I'm a fan of yours too.
Yeah, right.
You're so great. He's like, oh, thank you so much. You're so kind. I said, I'm actually a comedian, and I'm on Last Comic Standing. And he goes, oh my gosh. He goes, I DVR'd that. I'm going to watch it. And I was like, oh, cool. I said, well, I'm on there. And he's like, well, congratulations.
Yeah.
So nice. Then I met a vampire from True Blood.
Okay.
Oh, I can't think of her name, but she was in the last season. And I met her at a meeting, and she recognized me. I thought that was cool. I'm like, even vampires know me. That's pretty cool.
Crossover.
Right.
That's true crossover.
True crossover.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I never really watched True Blood. I wouldn't even know who that is. Anna Paquin is the only person I know from that show.
She was on the last season, and she was on a lot of scenes. She was one of the vampires. If anybody's listening that watched that show, she dated Jason. She was Jason's love interest in the very last season. Everybody will know who that is.
Okay. Did you now when you brought up John Ritter, of course, Three's Company,
right?
Monday night. This is to show how exciting my life has become. I turned on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
And Suzanne Summers.
Oh, is she
there.
on?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. How's she doing? Is she winning?
It's really funny. I don't want.
Dancing with the Stars. That's hilarious.
She's her face. I mean, if you've seen her, she's had some surgery done. She's in her 60s at least.
At least that's what we think. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Her hair looks like as young as ever. You know, it's good that she still has bright blonde hair. Her face looks pretty good because it's been maintained by some surgeries. And then, but then when she's dancing, she has an old woman butt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So does Madonna. I don't care what nobody says. I watched Madonna on that, was it Grammys or whatever. I'm like, nah. They try to say, oh, she looks so young. No, she looks old.
Yeah.
She looks like she was up there dancing and moving, and it looked like if she moved 1 inch the wrong way, it was all going to be over. She was going to fall over. And at the end, when they raised her up, I'm like, she is dead. They taking her to heaven. That's where
right.
she is going.
She's ascending right now.
She's ascending up to heaven. I know people want to go, oh, Madonna's so hot. Yes, she looks great for her age.
Yeah.
Yes, I would agree. But we all know there's been some work.
Yeah.
Some chiseling. And she's still, I don't know, what is she, 60?
Right, maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I can't. No, I'm not. She still looks like an older lady. Yeah. I saw Stevie Nicks in concert. I'm a huge Fleetwood Mac fan.
Yeah.
And I went to see Fleetwood Mac when they were at the XL Center years ago. And she had orthopedic shoes on, doing her gypsy. And she was spinning in a circle, but she knew better. She knew she couldn't wear no heels.
No. That's why she wears all the
long skirts.
Yes,
and
yes.
Yeah, she knows.
Clothes are just draping off her to the ground.
I'm sure there was one time she did that gypsy spin and with the wrong shoes, and she spun out of control. And she learned then, okay, I'm older.
She's wearing those black shoes now with a little heart in the heel.
That's right, and that's what she should do. Come on, let's just got to keep it real. It is what I'm getting older. I realize I can't party like I used to. Look at me, I'm sick. I hung out last week. I did a Laugh Fest in Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
And Grand Rapids, Michigan, had the best time doing that. But we were out late every night. I know that's probably why I ended up getting sick, you know? Mm-hmm. I've learned my lesson.
Tell me more about the Laugh Fest. Is that an invite? How do you get involved in that?
Yeah, I got invited to it. I did this thing called the Clean Comedy Showcase. Turns out it ended up being like a contest. I didn't know it was. If I'd known it was a contest, I wouldn't have done that. I don't like to do contests, but they don't really promote it as a contest. It's called the Clean Comedy Showcase. They have at the Laugh Fest, they have like over 100 shows, and they have a lot of big names that come, and then they have the smaller venues for comics like myself. And there were several of us who came from all over, and we didn't know we were competing, but we were competing. And at the end, basically, they had an audience favorite.
Okay.
And they didn't even announce it in front of the audience or anything. It was just somebody was given the plaque in private. You know, that's because they don't want to really focus on that. But they do have a contest, the Best of the Midwest. That was a big deal. And Tommy Ryman
won that.
He won that festival. And when I saw the names, I'm like, oh, Tommy's got a good shot. I really knew Tommy would do really well. So I was very proud of him. But no, it was a great festival, and I would tell anybody to do it. It was a lot of fun. It's for Gilda Radner's her charity, raising money for cancer. And
is she from that area or something?
I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know the whole history. I apologize for that. But it is in her honor. It's the Gilda's Laugh Fest.
Yep.
They had Wanda Sykes was there. I missed Wanda, but she was there. Billy Gardell was there. George Lopez. A lot of big names were also there. And then they had in the bars, they had comics like myself. They had Eliza Schlesinger. She did a show that was sold out. They had Nick Thune there, if you heard of that name.
Oh, he's been on this podcast.
Yeah, Nick was there. He was fantastic. And we all did this at the end of the week. We did this show at this bar called the Pyramid Scheme, because they put you in the Amway Grand Plaza Hotel. The Amway.
Yeah.
Well, this bar decided to name themselves the Pyramid Scheme right up the street from the hotel. It's hilarious.
Of course.
But it's a real laid-back hipster bar.
Okay.
And so we were able to go there. You know, in the clean show, we had to keep it clean. Mm-hmm. I think I said asshole once and got in trouble or something like that. But like at that show, Pyramid Scheme, we could say whatever. And so everybody was able to kind of like let go. And we had some of the best shows at the Pyramid Scheme.
Was that a impromptu show, or was that a like...
Well, what they would do, I want to say, no, they had it scheduled because people showed up. They had it scheduled, but what it was if you wanted to go and perform, you could. So, like, they invited all the comics. So people just showed up.
Yeah, I think I saw a picture of that. All you guys up on stage.
All of us were up on stage.
I also read something that the ticket sales for the clean shows were unbelievably strong.
They were. I mean, let me tell you something. It was packed. Those shows were fantastic.
Yeah.
I had so much fun doing those shows. They had two different sides. They had one side where the club was, where we performed in the club, and on the other side they had like a banquet room that filled like maybe 300 people. They had a show on that side. So we had two shows going on at the same time. And then once you were done with one side, you go to the other side and do the other show.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, it was fantastic. It was great. The audiences were like it just in your palm of your hands. Everything you said was golden, you know.
Where are you Where are you living now? You haven't moved.
I live now in Indiana.
You do.
I
Okay.
got married. I live real close to Chicago, though. That's what I always tell people.
Right.
So I live an hour from. I live in a small town called Merrillville.
Okay.
And I live. So it's about an hour from Chicago.
How are the? And now we've talked in the past about, and you've already mentioned it, the college shows. How much of your
how much money
work?
I'm making?
How much you making? Here's what happened. We talked about I lost my job, Tracy.
No, the college shows have been doing great. I have to tell you, I was just talking to a comic about this. He had asked me, he said, Tracy, what's the key to doing these colleges? He goes, I noticed you've been doing them for years. And I said, the key is your attitude. You know, you have to remember these are college students. And it's not that it's like any other audience, but it's just you're at a college. You're just not at a comedy club where there are drinks. You know, and they've driven to go there. These students have walked from their dorm over to the show. Most of the times they leave at the time of showtime. So you have to have a good attitude. You can't get mad if the show starts a little bit late, because it's going to start a little bit late.
Oh, okay.
Because you're dealing with college students. The show says 9 o'clock. They're going to walk over at 9. So it ain't going to start till 9:15. So that's just the way that goes. And you have to.
You got to slam that last beer in the dorm room.
Yeah, you got to realize that, and you had to also realize that you know, some stuff you're going to talk about. Like, I talk about anything and everything with them. And some stuff hits hard, some stuff does not. But that's okay. I get a whole hour to be on stage.
Do the MS talk?
Oh, they love it.
Really?
They really, really like it because, it's just talking about real life. And I throw in the X-Men. Of course, they know that. They get that whole analogy of that.
Yeah.
It depends on the schools you go to. It's just like also with clubs. You can be down south. Certain things resonate down south. Certain things are different up in the north. It's the same thing with the colleges. But I will say they are more open because they are college students.
Sure.
And 90% of my schools don't censor me. A lot of comics don't want to do colleges because they're like, they censor. 90% of them do not censor you. You get there and they say whatever you want. And then when I'm done, I'm like, oh, I hope I wasn't too bad. And they're like, oh my gosh, Tracy, no, we've had comics say a lot worse.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? And they're like, oh yeah. And then they'll tell me some of the things. I'm like, oh, well, I was fine. But the good thing about
Pete Lee was here last week, and my goodness.
Yeah. Well, no, never.
No.
Pete's awesome.
I know.
We always get good reports on Pete.
Of course.
But it was interesting because this comic had said, yeah, I've done them, but I never get rebooked. And that's been my great thing is I've been rebooked. I've done some of these colleges over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And it's great because the students come and go. It's not the same audience because they've graduated. So now you have a different group of students who come in. So for me, it's just the journey for me has been great for colleges.
Well, now the as we're speaking right now, the NCAA, the tournament's going on, basketball.
Oh, that's right.
First of all, did you do a bracket? Obviously not.
No, I did last year. I didn't do this year, and because last year I did them, and I think I was out right away.
With money involved?
No, I just did it for fun. My husband, he does it with money involved, and he wanted me to do one, so I did one, and I was done. Like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not into that.
Okay.
But I do watch it.
I was going to ask if you have a favorite school that you performed at that's in the tournament or anything.
I can't say Michigan. Are they in the tournament?
Did I? No.
No, they're not.
I don't think so.
Oh, that was my favorite school.
I could be totally wrong. I filled out a bracket last night at 11:30.
Wisconsin, though. The Badgers are. I like Wisconsin. Are they good in basketball?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they have a player named Frank. They call him Frank the Tank.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Big white guy. He dominates.
Every time I've done any campus, the University of Wisconsin, any campus, I've done them all.
Yeah.
Anytime, shows have always been amazing. Always been amazing. They always do a great job.
Well, they drink a lot. But
they do.
I'm sure that has nothing to do with it.
But actually, they have their shows are actually in a room that looks like a bar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Nice.
They set it up like a showroom.
I'm going to assume that you are as Irish as I am.
That's right.
In that 0.
That's right.
So St. Patrick's Day was this week.
Yes, it was Tuesday.
What did that mean to you? Absolutely nothing here?
Yeah, I forgot it was St. Patrick's
Did
Day
you?
until I turned the news on.
Yeah.
And they were talking about there was a parade.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, man, we should have did something at the club, like green beer night or something. But when I came out, nobody was in green. Nobody seemed to, I'm like, what's going on?
No.
Does nobody care here? But then someone said to me, it's bigger in St. Paul.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm a St. Paul guy, but I'm not Irish. I couldn't even
Okay.
care less. And now that I've, I haven't been getting up early, working and focusing on the news, that being my life.
Right.
I didn't realize it was St. Patrick's Day until
I
I got on
forgot.
Facebook that day at about noon. Like, oh, yeah.
I was going to put a tweet like, come on out. I'm like, it's already 5 o'clock, Tracy. Most people are already drunk by now if they're drinking for St. Patty's Day. That's what they said on the news, that some people said they already started earlier that day. I'm like, well, where are these people?
Yeah, oh, yeah. We, my fiance and I, Ashley, we got pretty crazy that night.
Okay.
We were watching that. Are you watching Kimmy Schmidt at all? Do you have Netflix?
No, but someone told me about it, and I just saw it on Netflix. When I'm home on my break, I'm gonna watch.
Okay.
This. What's this about?
It's it's one of the weirdest shows you'll ever see.
Okay.
It's I liked it. There's some stuff that is so over the top. I'm like, I didn't laugh. I think if I go back, I'd even catch more jokes. It's one of the most bizarre sitcoms you will ever watch.
Okay,
yeah.
well, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that out. I've been into Empire lately. That's been my thing.
Okay.
I don't know if you watch Empire.
No,
You need to watch it. It's with Terrence Howard.
Oh, I know.
And, it's a great show. Taraji P. Henson is on it, and I caught up. I was, I've been going through this cold, so I was in bed last week, and I was watching it, and I did not think I'd get into it. I watched every episode.
Really?
Yes, it is really good, and the music is really good.
Do you like Terrence Howard going into this?
Yes, I do.
Okay, because I'm kind of...
Now, why don't you like Terrence Howard? You didn't like him in Hustle and Flow, or
No, because it was an interview he did, I don't know, a year or so ago, where he just came off as this cranky jerk.
Okay,
but,
I've heard that. I've
yeah.
heard people say, but his acting.
He's smooth.
Yeah, he is so smooth.
He's smooth.
I've liked him since. I think he was Best Man. He did the movie called The Best Man. I've liked him ever since then. So this show is good.
Okay.
Empire is good, and I missed the finale last night. So.
All right. Well, Kimmy Schmidt, you should go watch. It'll be on
definitely watch
Netflix.
that.
We just finished it last night, but 2 nights ago, St. Patrick's Day, Ashley and I were sitting around watching it, and out of nowhere, she's like, "We should go get some cherry berry." So cherry berry,
Yeah.
the frozen yogurt.
Oh, sure, okay.
Yeah, so we went nuts St. Patrick's Day and got some cherry berry. But here's how much we weren't celebrating St. Patrick's Day. We're there filling up our little cups with yogurt. Look up, even cherry berry celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Anyone wearing green gets 50% off.
darn
So we
it.
look at each other. Neither of us wearing a speck of green.
I even bought a green. I bought a green Notre Dame shirt to wear, and I took it out. I'm like, you may not want to wear this, Notre Dame. You're in Minnesota. You can't wear this. And I just didn't wear it. It was a sweatshirt. That was all I had green, so I didn't wear that. So I was like, don't worry about it. Just mention St. Patrick's Day. I get here, I'm thinking it's going to be green everywhere. No. Nobody in green. Nobody in green.
I missed out on my 50%
Even the
off.
girls' hockey team. But I was thinking that's why their coach brought them here so they wouldn't go out drinking.
Oh, I'm sure they're so well behaved.
Oh, sure.
Come on, I'm sure they sign a waiver at the beginning of the season that they're going to stay out of trouble, and I'm sure every one of them does just
They were
that.
awesome. They were a great crowd, great audience.
So I was telling Ashley that you and I were going to be doing the podcast
Sure.
this week, and she goes, Tracey Ashley, she's the one that has the mattress, right?
That's what everybody remembers. Everybody remembers the mattress.
Yes.
I even got a call from a producer from CNN and HLN. They wanted me to do a segment. I did a short segment for them online showing things that you do for travel, like things that I bring with me for travel, how I pack, hotels that I stay in, what I do. Like,
Wait a minute, I saw that. I think I saw it. I stumbled upon this a few months ago.
I did that online for them.
Yeah.
And the reason she called me was they saw my segment on Last Comic, and they thought, she said to me, her exact words were, we thought that was the best segment we saw on Last Comic. We thought that was the best backstory, and we love seeing you travel from hotel to hotel, your whole routine. And she goes, and when you took that air mattress out, I lost it. She says, I got to know who this woman is. I lost it. And so I thought, and it's funny, everybody comes up to me. There are 2 things they mention. They either mention the air mattress or they mention Slappy May. Mm-hmm. A joke I did about being delivered by a midwife named Slappy May.
Oh, that's right.
And some people will, do Freedom, the Oprah joke, whatever, but mainly it's that mattress, boy. And people come up, do you really do that? I'm like, yes. And I've been doing it for years. Now, I booked a wedding out from Last Comic Standing. A couple loved the show. They love comedy. I've never done a wedding before in my life. I don't know many comics who've done a wedding. Only a handful I know.
Uh-huh.
But they flew me to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
What?
Yes, first class, round trip, the whole 9. I stayed at a Four Seasons, and they were getting married at Four Seasons. And I did not have to bring my air mattress there. People were like, "Are you bringing your air mattress?" I'm like, "No, not at the Four Seasons."
Okay.
I shouldn't have to need an air mattress at the Four Seasons.
No.
And I didn't. It was fantastic. And I flew out and I did their wedding.
What?
I know.
What?
I did a wedding. After they got married, they did the whole thing where they let off the baby turtles there because they do a thing with the...
Like into the ocean or something?
Yes, because a lot of them are endangered. They're endangered, and so they try to save them because people will take the eggs and, I guess, use them as aphrodisiacs.
Okay.
They take them for that.
Sure.
I guess and they're worth a lot of money. So they do this thing where they let off the turtles. So everybody got a few turtles to let off. They did the whole thing. They had, this couple spared no expense.
Where were they from? Can I ask?
California.
Okay.
One lady the bride was from Wausau, Wisconsin.
Wow.
Yeah, but the groom was from California. And They live in California. And they all came, and it was so funny. I almost screwed up because I showed up the day before at the, I forgot what you call that. It's not the rehearsal dinner, but they had like a little barbecue the night before the wedding for everybody. And one of the sisters came up to me, and she goes, "Now, how do you know Michael and Karen?" And I came right out of my mouth. I go, "Oh, I'm the comedian." And I go, "Oh, I'm one of Karen's funny friends. I've known her. I met her at Walmart. We were in Walmart in line one day just talking, and we became friends." I couldn't think of anything. That was the first thing that came out of my mouth.
What?
And the sister just looked at me, and she goes, "Oh, okay." Then she walked away, and I knew. I'm like, "Oh, man, she's going to know." And I just went up to her. I said, "Listen, please don't say anything." She goes, "Oh, don't worry, I won't." She goes, "I'm still trying to figure out really who you are." She said, "Just don't say anything." She goes, "You look familiar." But I wouldn't say. I left. So I come back the next day, and I go to the reception dinner after the wedding. I'm sitting at this table with their guests. These people at the table decide they want to play Truth or Dare.
Okay.
At the table. They have no idea I'm the comic that's about to get up on stage and do a show.
Right.
And I'm like, this is the worst thing that they could actually want to do is play Truth or Dare.
Can I ask one question real quick
Sure.
here? Was there any reason you would have stood out being black at this wedding?
No. There
Okay.
was a couple. There was another couple there that was. No.
Okay.
Not really, no.
Like, wait a minute. Wait.
But people were trying to figure who I was. Like, everybody would ask, like, "How do you know Karen?
Yeah.
How do you know Michael?" I go, "Oh, we go way back." And I kept using the Walmart story.
Yeah.
So
They want to play Truth or Dare.
So I'm sitting at the table. They're playing Truth or Dare, and I find out that all these people are pretty. They're like up there. They're all well-to-do people.
Okay.
And they start talking. They start drinking, and they start letting it all out. Who's ever cheated?
Oh.
Who's ever wanted to cheat? Then they start having this debate on if you're married and then you cheat with someone who's not married, that person's not cheating because they're not married. So we had this big debate at the table on what constitutes cheating and are you a top or a bottom? Like, I'm not kidding you. These are the questions at the wedding reception. So right as we're doing this game, there's a fire dancer. She's dancing with fire on stage, and the stage is set on top of a pool.
Uh-huh.
So she's dancing, doing this whole thing, and I'm just sitting here playing this game. I'm like, oh my gosh. So finally, after the fire dancer's over, this guy gets up and he reads my intro, and he says, "Please welcome from Last Comic Standing, Tracey Ashley." And I get up from the table, and all the people at that table scream, like literally scream. And the one lady, "Oh my God, I can't believe we just said all that stuff in front of a comedian." And one lady like literally goes under the table.
No.
And I get on stage, and everyone's looking like, "Why are they doing that?" And I go, "Hey, you guys, no worries. Nothing bad's happened over there. We just played a little game of Truth or Dare." And everybody starts laughing. I go, and they had no idea I was about to come up on this stage.
Wow.
I go, "But don't worry about it. I will not talk about the adultery. I will not talk about what constitutes cheating.
Right.
You guys are all good with me."
Oh, that's awesome.
So, but it was weird. The rest of those people, they didn't talk to me after that. It was, it was
Oh,
awkward.
no.
They didn't talk to me. I just kind of, one girl comes up to me. She kind of pushes me. She's like, "You could have told us you were the comedian." I'm like, "No, I couldn't. Karen didn't want me to." And then I found out later, the sister said, "When you said to everyone that you met Karen at a Walmart, we all knew you had to be lying because Karen does not shop at a Walmart.
At Walmart.
Ever."
They used to own a Walmart.
Right. And it was so. And this was an older couple. They weren't like a young 21-year-old. They were like, I think they were like maybe late 30s, early 40s, or something like that. But they were like, "Yeah, Karen never shops at Walmart." So we knew something was up.
Yeah.
So like,
Wow.
yeah. But it ended up being a great show, and because I was really concerned, I wanted it to be a good memory for her because this was her wedding.
Right. How long did they ask you to perform?
I just did like 40 minutes.
Yeah. That's a long time
It's a long time at a wedding.
At a wedding,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it? Where did they place it? After dinner?
After everything. It was right after dinner. Yep.
And then was there anything after
it was
that?
Right before. After that, they had more dancing. And Michael and Karen did some toast, and at the end of the night, everybody jumped in the pool. I didn't. They literally all jumped in the pool.
In their clothes?
In their clothes.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
They jumped in the pool.
Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow. It's funny because we're gonna get married in October.
Okay.
And I've joked to Ashley like I should ask one of my comic friends to perform, but there really wouldn't be time for how much we have the place we've rented out. But
it's different. I would tell you it's different. Some people, because people ask me, did everybody like it? Some people liked it and some people didn't. Some people wanted to just dance and enjoy the evening, and they didn't want that interruption. You could see it. Some people loved it. Some people were like, "This is great," and some people were like, "It's all right." But
we want to do the chicken dance.
Exactly. They wanted to get to more of that, and then right after I was done, we got to that.
Yeah. Wow. That's at a wedding.
Yeah.
At a wedding. That's really neat. That is really, really neat. What the hell else was I going to talk to you about today, Tracey Ashley? What else? Oh, I know. First of all, we need to mention we talked about Last Comic Standing.
Sure.
And have you seen they announced it is coming back this year?
It is coming back. They had went through a lot because at first they said it was canceled, and people were like, "Oh no!" And then I heard they were just going through some retooling. So now it's back, and I saw that they have a new host.
Yes.
And they have
Anthony Jeselnik,
and they have
instead of JB Smoove.
That's right. And they have a new judge instead of Russell Peters. They have Norm Macdonald. Which I think is also a great addition.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. A lot of people are excited about that.
I got my picture taken with Norm Macdonald about, 5 years ago.
Really?
And everybody just points out that he had two giant stains on his sweatshirt.
Wow.
In the picture.
Wow.
One of my a comic that I've gotten to know through this job that I'm now a huge fan of, and he's such a good guy, is Roy Wood Jr.
Roy Wood, yes.
Yeah.
Roy Wood just you heard about his good news.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, he just announced that he's going to play a dad.
He's going to play a dad, and it looked like it's with Whoopi Goldberg, and I can't think of the other person's name, but this is huge. It's big news.
Right? I think another comic was Jermaine Fowler.
Yes, Jermaine Fowler. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, funny kid.
Yeah.
He's really good.
That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's just pilot maybe right now.
It says it's just a pilot right now, but the fact that he's that's all part of the whole the stride, the whole work of everything you do. You got to put in the work.
Yeah.
And this is now, I think this is his second one because he was on Sullivan and Son.
Yes.
So now he's going to be on this one.
Yeah. I'm
really excited. I just hung out with Roy. Actually, we watched the Oscars together at his place when I was in L.A.
Oh, really?
I'm name dropping, but yeah. Hey,
I
Roy.
love name dropping. Keep it going. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, Roy's. Oh, he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
I hope that
great comedian, and I'm so happy for him.
How about
hard?
Yeah. How about you? Are you any acting in your future?
Well, I've been working with some acting coaches and stuff and getting prepared for auditions. I actually had an opportunity after Last Comic last year. I got a call from NBC, and I had a chance to meet with some executives, and they were talking to me about this sitcom that was going to be airing this year, and they said that it was that Bill, we think you would be great to play one of his adult daughters. And I'm like, Bill? And they're like, Bill Cosby.
What?
And I was so I was sitting there in this office like, what? This is crazy. And it was, again, long shot, but it was going to be an audition to, see if I could get a role on that show as one of his adult daughters. And I was so excited.
You're the new Sandra.
Yeah, and I remember this woman, she was so kind. She leaned in and she said, she works for NBC, and she said, we're pretty sure this show is going to happen.
Yeah.
And at that time, I'm sure we all were pretty sure.
I'm sure everybody was.
So then I go on the road and I'm doing my gigs, and then I am hearing on the news every day, every report about Bill Cosby and all of these accusations and I'm like, oh my gosh, by the 15th one, I was like, there's no way they're going to have a show. There's just too much. This is too much bad press for them to put out a show. And then the next thing I know, I read online that they weren't doing. They canceled tours. They canceled the show, all of that stuff. Yeah.
No way.
Yes, the life of a comic, up and then down.
And
I never got the chance to even meet him. Never got the chance to get to that next step. It was just like,
Of all the guys had how long has his career been? 60 years or something?
I'm a huge fan too.
Just now is the time that you're about to get your maybe a little piece of that.
Maybe a little piece of it. And like I said, there was no guarantees.
All the years.
But all of the things, yeah.
It could have happened in 1980. I mean, you were too young, but you know what I'm saying? Like, all these other years.
Right?
Oh,
Nope.
my God.
Nope.
Oh, my God.
That's the way it goes.
Bill, you son of a bitch.
Aw. I didn't say that, Mr. Cosby.
For what you may have done or not done, but just the fact that
I'm just
this
praying for you.
happens.
I'm just praying for you.
Yeah.
That's all I can do. Yeah, I was like, wow. But you know what? It's the funniest thing about it is when you as a comic, you go up and down, peaks and valleys. So even when after that meeting had happened, I was excited, but I made sure not to tell anybody. I didn't even tell my husband.
Okay.
Because I had learned there's no guarantee of anything.
Sure.
And this, to me, this is a long shot, Tracy. So just keep. I didn't say a word. You know, I've learned. And so when it didn't happen, I wasn't as disappointed as if somebody who was like, oh my God, holding on to this, and I had moved to California. No, I was still working and doing my gigs. And when I like I said, I was on the road at a show, and I heard like 15 women. I'm like, well, this ain't happening. Look at your calendar. At least you're still booked. You know, keep doing your acting classes and just keep on moving.
Son of a bitch. Had you ever? Have you ever seen him live?
No, I've never seen him live. I almost did. I wanted to see him in Iowa, and I ended up getting booked at Iowa like a week later.
Oh.
Yeah, but I wanted to go and see him, and I ended up getting booked at Iowa. I think he was there the week before, and I just missed him.
I have seen him. I went with my dad a few, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, something like that. I
heard he does 2 hours or more.
Oh, it certainly was. Yeah.
And
it's
everyone
weird
says it's a great show.
It is. It's weird because it goes on for a really long time, and it did kind of seem like a long time. And he's, from what I know, he's always kind of had a slow delivery. Like it's these stories, and I mean, there were times where I was like, okay, let's speed her up here. Let's get to that. Let's get to that payoff.
Right. He does that in his interviews also. Like I've watched him on Letterman and all the late night shows, and it takes a while. But he's building.
I know.
You know, he's building to that punchline.
But he did. I remember that he did the thing about someone had recently. It couldn't have been that long ago because he had a joke about being given Crocs for his birthday.
Oh, okay.
Rubber shoes that his daughter or something gave him shoes that bounce.
Right.
So it couldn't have been that long ago, I guess. Oh my God.
Yeah. That was a big. That's like his legacy done. You know.
Yeah. I'm never gonna show my kids. No, I'm kidding. What was the bad movie they always make fun of him? Leonard Part 6.
Oh my gosh, I never saw that, but I heard it was so bad.
I didn't either.
I heard it was so bad. And you know, it's interesting too because the college students, if you mention him, that's all they know now of him. Like they don't, because they didn't come up with the Cosby Show and stuff. All they know now is these stories that they hear about him and these accusations.
We never missed the Cosby Show in my house Thursday nights.
Me neither.
Ever.
That was the talk of school the next day.
Hell yeah. It was the number one show. I never missed it. I'm going to bring something up to your attention here.
Sure.
We're about 45 minutes in here.
Okay.
Yeah. And this has nothing to do with comedy, nothing to do with you or really even me necessarily, but just this weird, as a black woman, Tracey Ashley, I want to you obviously have never experienced what I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
But maybe, I don't know. I went out last week and had a couple beers at happy hour with a buddy of mine. And this guy, we're belly up to the bar. We had something to eat, having some drinks. And there's this guy by himself to my left. He was much older than my buddy. He was like a 70-something-year-old fella, probably. Seemed like he goes there a lot. One of the bartenders working behind the bar was walking by here and there. And at one point, he taps me on the shoulder. He goes, "Good-looking black girl there, isn't it?" I went, "Yeah, huh? What?"
Oh, we had to specify.
Yeah, like what? Why are you? What?
Right. Yeah.
What?
That's how most people talk, though.
What?
That's how most people talk. Most people say it like that. That's a good-looking black woman. That's a good-looking black man. It's never that's a good-looking woman, good-looking man. It's just that you got to put that in front.
I just thought I might. Which part of that did you throw in the black bar? Because I was going to go. I don't. What
But
what
that's
was
how
that?
most people talk, though.
What was that?
That is really that's common. That is really, really common how most people. I've even heard. Even my black friends will say, "That's a good-looking white guy." You know, that's how it's just.
No, I'm not Mr. Sensitivity or anything
Right.
Let's all be completely politically correct. But it's just like, why are you? What? What reaction were you trying to get out of me?
Because it's you thought he was trying to get a reaction out of you?
I don't know. I
think
really
that's just
know.
probably how he talks.
Yeah.
You know, because it's he's I'm guessing white guy, right? So he's white.
Yeah.
So when he sees a white woman, he just goes, "Oh, that's a good-looking woman." He's white. He identifies with that.
Yeah.
But if she's not, she's black, Asian, Mexican, anything, he's got to put that in front of it.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I could see that. Yeah. I mean, yes, you're right, sir. She is black and she is attractive. Yes.
My husband gets that all the time. Like, he'll tell me that
you're right both ways.
People will tell my husband, "Oh, so you like black women?" Like, they think because he married me, that's all he ever likes. And he's like,
okay.
No.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't. That's not how I roll. No.
No, Tracy's the only one I like.
That's
actually.
what I tell people about my husband. I go, he's the only white guy I like. The only. People like to do that. That's just the way of the world, and it bothers me sometimes. But I had to learn a long time ago. Just get over it, Tracy. That's just the way the world really works. As I travel, the more I travel, the more I realize that there is more. I don't want to say racial divide, but there is that, you know, in this country from where I go. I go places still now, and people want to know, why is this woman here? Like, they'll be, you know, I've had people tell me that at a show. I did a show once. Gosh, where was it? In North Dakota, small town in North Dakota. Show went great, and I was talking to some of the people in the audience. We were hanging out at the bar, and this woman came up to me, and she goes, "Oh, my gosh, you were so funny. And when you walked in the room, I was thinking, who is she? What's she doing here?" Yeah.
Working.
Yeah.
Hell you doing here?
What's she doing here? And you know what she meant. What's she doing here? Because I was the only black person in the entire room. It was at a VFW.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I got up and I did the show, and she was like, "Oh, you were so great. We loved you." And when you first walked, what's she doing here?
I think she's lost, you guys.
Right?
I think she's lost.
Get that all the time.
Sure
I was down in
lost.
Spokane, Washington, recently. And I went to a coffee shop, and it's beautiful there. And I went down there and had to sit on the deck and enjoying this coffee. And this guy comes over because he recognizes me from Last Comic Standing. And he's an older white man. He's bald, got tattoos. And he comes over and he says, you just look familiar. And I said, "I was on Last Comic Standing," just, right away. He goes, "Yes." He goes, "But you look different. It's your hair. Your hair is different than it was on the show, but I remember you." And he starts quoting the jokes and stuff.
Wow.
Then he says, "We used to have the Aryan Brotherhood up here."
Huh?
Yeah. Came right out of his mouth. True story. Just came right out of his mouth. And I look up and I said, "Is there something I need to get?" Because he's bald with tattoos. And I'm like, "Is there something I need to know? Do I need to leave?" Because my heart starts racing at that moment.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oh, my God, no. No, I don't even know why I told you that. No, you don't have to go. Oh, my God.
Oh my God.
I am so sorry. I just told you. You know what? They were here. But what happened," he tells me this whole story about how they did something to some woman, and she sued them, and she won their property, and she demolished their whole commune that they had.
Wow.
And, yeah, big story. She demolished the whole commune. And he goes, "So they're not in that commune." He goes, "So they're not really around here. They're kind of out in the outskirts, but they're not here. You're fine. I don't know why I told you that. I'm so sorry."
Oh, my God.
I didn't know what. I don't even know what to do.
No.
And I'm by myself, and I don't know what to even do with that information.
I mean, you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
What? Why are you telling me?
And I don't even know why I said that, is what he said. I don't even know why that came out.
No.
And I asked some friends, I'm like, "Why do you think he said that?" And they were like, "Well, maybe he wanted you to know he wasn't one of them. Or maybe he got nervous because he saw you on TV. And then he didn't know what to say, kind of like when I did with Jason Ritter, maybe he just, and that just came out of his mouth. So who knows?
That could be.
Yeah, but it really freaked me out.
Did you get a close look at any of his tattoos? There weren't any.
No,
to be afraid of. Was there?
No, he told me he was a musician.
Okay.
And that he understood working the road, and we ended up talking about what life was like on the road. And he told me if I ever come back to town, he'd love me to see his band. And he actually friended me on Facebook. That's why I thought, well, okay, this guy can't be bad.
Oh, no, huh?
Can't be bad.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, but he kept "I'm so sorry. I don't know why I said that. I'm so sorry."
No, on Facebook, he hasn't sent you any, weird group invites or anything.
No, and he actually looks normal. He saw pictures of him and his wife and his friends. He looks like a normal guy.
That's good. That's good. That's good. There's one more thing I want
Sure.
that I saw this story. I have a weird thing. I have a weird, not fascination, baby names.
Okay.
If I don't like someone's baby name, it drives me insane. I don't know why. So I try to push this on everyone.
Okay.
I want everyone to be more critical of what names babies get.
Okay.
No, I'm not bringing this up because I am having a baby. Like no one's pregnant
okay. No one's
or
okay.
anything.
Okay.
That could happen
Okay.
sometime again, but
Okay.
it's not happening right now. Now, my daughters are Megan and Anna, which I've given those names. I've mentioned them many times on this show. You can make fun of those if you want, but they're pretty solid.
Those
One
are
comes
solid
from my
names.
family.
Yeah, those are solid.
Not
Yeah.
too trendy, I don't think. I think at one point they were. They're less so right now. I found this list,
Okay.
and I want your opinion on these names.
Okay.
This is a name. This is a list of names that are about to go extinct.
Oh, really?
Yes, the
Okay.
Social Security Administration classifies a name as extinct if less than 5 newborns receive it in a year.
Okay.
So that's
that's
really
interesting.
really low. So here I hear 14 names that only went to 5 kids or less in 2013. This is the
Okay.
most recent stuff here. So I'm going to give you these names that are
Okay.
leaving. For girls, Alpha,
Alpha.
ALPHA,
Wow.
Alpha.
Okay.
Yeah. Should we say
Never
goodbye
even
to
heard that.
I haven't.
Yeah, get
either.
rid of that one.
Yeah. Claudine,
Oh, I know Claudine.
Do you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
black or white?
Black.
Yeah. Claudine. Claudine. Yeah. Okay. That should stay.
Yeah.
It's classic.
She's
right?
older. Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm. Here's another one. Nanette.
Ooh, I've heard people call Nanette, but that was like their a nickname
Okay.
from their other name. Like maybe their name was Lynette or something like that. Yeah, I've heard that. Nanette as actual name. Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
get rid of that one.
Sheba.
Oh yes, let's get rid of Sheba. That's old school.
I can't call you Sheba.
No, who named their child Sheba?
I don't know.
My gosh. All right,
Thisbe.
that's not a name.
THISBE. Thisbe. Tisbe?
Thisbe.
Thisbe?
This be my baby.
Thisbe.
That's horrible. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Yes, extinct.
That's your baby? Thisbe.
This be my baby.
And then this is the reason I thought it's popped into my head earlier. Of Sandra, of course, as
That's
in the
it?
Cosby Show.
Really?
Yeah. SONDRA.
Oh,
Sandra.
But I bet you SAN, Sandra will still be okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the final female name, Barbara, BARBRA.
Do you know I don't know many Barbaras? It's true. That's an old school name.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my old professor's name, Barbara. I don't know any Barbaras.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Babs.
Babs,
No
or when
more
they're
Babs.
introduced as Barbie.
Yeah. Yeah. I do know a Barbie, though. I do know a woman named Barbie, but I think that really is her name, is Barbie.
Okay. Yeah, this is Barbara like Barbara Streisand.
Okay.
Barbara.
Yeah. Oh, I could see that one going away.
Barbrazier.
I think Angela would be on that list, but it's not her.
Angela?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I still know Angelas.
You? Do you?
Mm-hmm. Guess not any babies.
No.
I haven't heard anybody giving
No.
that name.
Uh-uh.
All right, here are the guys. Elmo.
That was a name.
Mm-hmm.
Really? From the Sesame Street character, people were naming their sons Elmo?
Yeah, and you can imagine why that's less popular now. He
Yeah.
got a little
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
puppet scandal.
Yeah, get rid of that one.
My cousin named his kid Milo.
I've heard of Milo. That's a cute name.
Yeah,
I like Milo.
I do too.
Yeah, that's
I didn't
a
at
cute
first.
name.
I
Cute,
do.
interesting name.
I do. Icarus.
Icarus.
Yeah, that one's apparently going away.
Okay.
Now I don't know how to pronounce this one. I think it's like Inigo, like Inigo Montoya from The
Indigo.
Princess Bride.
Yeah, I've never heard anyone name that ever.
I've always liked this one just because it sounds so girly and it has double L's twice.
What?
Llewellyn.
Oh, isn't there a movie, Llewellyn Davis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That was yeah.
LLEWELLYN.
You should never do that to your son ever. You shouldn't do it to your daughter either, but definitely don't do it to your son.
Double L's.
Yeah, don't do it.
Llewellyn.
Mess up their life the whole time.
You could go by Lou or Ellen or Lynn. So many great
Or
male.
just change your name.
So many great male nicknames there.
Change your name. That would be rough.
How about Remus?
Remus. Oh my gosh, that's like Remus, like from back in the day, like those old.
Oh, like like the movies we can't watch. Song of the South.
Yeah, that's horrible. Remus.
Uncle
Who's naming
Remus?
their kid Remus? Oh, that's horrible.
I don't know.
Yeah, lay that one to rest for sure.
Please. I actually like this next one. Sherwood.
Oh, that's a good name. Sherwood is a good. But Sherwood sounds very.
Yeah.
You can't be 5 and your name is Sherwood.
No.
Yeah, that's
No.
that's not fun.
There won't be a,
Sherwood. You don't grow into Sherwood until you're much, much older. That's what would suck.
That's
Yeah.
true. And then the final one, Waldo.
Thank goodness. Get rid of that. We know we don't want to know where Waldo is. We're good with that one. Get rid of that. Get rid of that name. My niece and nephew, their name are Annabelle and Wyatt, and I love those two names.
Those are good.
At first, I didn't like Annabelle because I thought, are they trying to do like the girl from the Twilight movie? I think her name was Belle or something. But I think her name was Isabel.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that. But I love Annabelle now.
Annabelle's
and I
good.
love Wyatt. That's a pretty popular name, Wyatt.
Yes. Yes, it is.
It's a good name.
I approve.
Those names are fine. But I'm still getting over this Llewellyn. Man, who would name their kid that now? That would be rough. That's rough. What's your baby's name? Llewellyn? Oh, great.
We have a newborn. Llewellyn Sherwood Severson.
Icarus.
Llewellyn
Icarus.
We call him Icky. Little Icky.
My mom said if I had been a boy, she was going to name me Bernard.
Really?
That would have been my name. I would have been Bernard Ashley. I'm so glad I wasn't a boy. I think Bernard is a horrible name. I hate that. Do you know any Bernards? I don't know any Bernards.
As a first name?
Yeah,
no.
as a first name, no.
The only thing it makes me think of is on the TV show Lost. There was a character. The guy's white, his wife was black, and they would be gone for like 6 episodes and then come back, and they'd be kind of like walking over a hill on the beach.
Oh,
and
okay.
Rose was the wife, and she'd be going, Bernard!
Oh, really?
Bernard!
I never saw that show.
It always makes me think of her going, Bernard!
And my middle name is Ronette.
Oh.
Yeah. And they spelt it wrong on the birth certificate by accident. So I've had this misspelling of my name for like my whole entire life. They spelled it Ronnettee, Ronetti.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's really bad. Really bad. And it's on my birth certificate. And it's on my Social Security card.
That's too many letters.
Too many letters, all spelled wrong.
Who's
I was delivered by a Midway.
Is it Slappy to blame?
I blame Slappy because I was born on that farm.
Yeah.
And I asked my aunt, because I'm getting bits and pieces of the story, and she told me, she said, well, when you were born, she said, it took us a few days, maybe a week, before we went into town to print up the birth certificate.
Oh, yeah.
So who knows if I really was born on the 8th. They might have, July 8th, they might have forgotten.
Oh, no.
And they just got there and was typing up, well, how you spell her name? R-O-N, Ronette. And my mom didn't tell them, so she's like, well, you're just going to spell it the way we think it sounds. And they just spelt it and they typed it in that way. So for all I know, my birthday is wrong.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Because my aunt said, I think it was a week, maybe 2 weeks before we went into town and we did the birth certificate.
Pretty firm on the year, though, right?
Oh, most definitely the year. But they don't remember. She was like, she goes, I think it was the 8th. That's what she said.
I love it. I love it. Are you selling anything at the shows these days?
At the end of the weekend, these shows, I'll be doing my CD. I have my CD, Tracey Ashley 2 first name, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll sell that tonight and this weekend.
Look how that tied in. We just talked about names.
That's
and
right.
2 first names.
2 first names. That's the name of my album, and it's gotten good reviews. I'm proud of it. It sounds great. I will say I'm doing a different cover. I'm working with the record label to do a different cover.
Oh, really?
We want to do something a little bit different. Yeah, I wanted something a little bit different, so we're going to work on changing that. But other than that,
the one out now has like your.
It has it has like the Indiana license plate, not license plate, driver's license.
Yeah.
And so we want to go something a little bit different. So we're going to change that up.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. So that's the one new thing. Other than that, I'm just on the road touring, doing my colleges, and I cannot wait. I'm going to be taking a nice little break here in May.
Oh.
I'm looking forward to taking some time off.
Vacation anywhere?
Yeah, no, I'm not. That's the thing. As much as I travel, people go, "Where are you going?" I go home.
Yeah.
I go home. My husband and I have our basement set up like it's like set up. It's his man cave, or I guess what you call that, really. But it's still our hangout.
Yeah.
So when I go home, I'll be hanging out down there, just chilling, watching Netflix, and for 30 days, I ain't doing nothing.
There you go. Kimmy Schmidt.
That's right. I will catch up on Kimmy Schmidt, House of Cards, and I got to watch the Empire finale.
There you go. This was fun.
This was fun as always.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck.
Thank you.